Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And we have some breaking news on the trans charity Mermaids. This is the organisation that liked to, destroy children's futures by forcing them down a one-way path to sterility, where the leader of that charity, she liked to claim that she was a medical professional when she was no such thing. She was just a mother who had a son with a mental condition, so she turned him into a girl. Took him all down that line, and then decided that everyone else needs to do this, otherwise she would look like a terrible mother. She was trying to justify her decision. Well, there is a group called the LGB Alliance. Note, notee. It's for lesbian, bi and gay people. There's no trans. They are saying that they're an organisation explicitly for gay people, for homosexual people, whether it be male, female or whatever. But there was no room for trans. They were not a trans organisation because their view is that it is impossible to change someone's sex, which of course biologically speaking is 100% correct. But of course Mermaids, this trans organisation, didn't like that. They took them to court to try and remove their charitable status from them. The Alliance fought back, and of course the Alliance have won. They're saying that Mermaids is actually homophobic because they're obviously plainly against gay people by taking this role. Mermaids are saying that they're transphobic because they're denying reality. The reality is it doesn't matter what you do to your body. You're still male or you're still female. It's all to do with the sex you were born into. Nothing can ever change. But we'll take a look at this, see what's going on with the court case, see what the results were. Well, we know what the results are, but see why it happened and see what's going on next. There'll probably be an appeal because these people will never give up. But who knows? Anyway, here goes. So, transgender charity Mermaids loses bid to strip the gay rights organisation LGB Alliance of its charitable status in the first case of its kind in the UK. This is the first time one charity has tried to strip another charity of its charitable status, and it's because for the Mermaids, it's very important that everybody bows down to the cult of trans and accepts that trans is real and journey, it must be accepted. Of course, it doesn't. Must be accepted doesn't count in it. We've had the Maya Forstater case where she stated that there are only two genders, male and female, and they're assigned at birth, not even assigned at birth, they are decided at the moment of conception. She was fired from her job. She fought it. She won £100,000. The court decided that yes, she does have the right, and it is perfectly acceptable in law to have this right, because the 2010 Equalities Act says you have the right to philosophical belief, and Maya Forstater said it was her philosophical belief that sex is decided, is immutable, and it's decided at the point, or not decided, it is created, if you will, at the point of conception. It is set at that point, and it can never be changed. She won her case. The law is simple. But these people have gone on and tried to say, no, blah, blah, blah. Try to fight it because they don't like gay people. They only want trans people. Little Johnny isn't gay. He's just a girl. Now turn him into a girl and he can kiss as many boys as he likes. Little Johnny now has his balls in a jar, but he's actually gay and he wanted to have gay sex. But Johnny can't. In fact, he can't have any kind of sex whatsoever. But hey, the mummies and the daddies, they don't have a gay son anymore. That's what this is. A lot of this is the abuse of the children by trans housing parents. The parents are trans housing their children, and it's quite wrong. But Mermaids has been pushing this thing. Mermaids has been sending out chest binders to girls without parental consent or knowledge. All sorts of things. Mermaids needs to be wound up. But the woman who started him, who was the leader, actually lost her job there because she was so extreme on it and believed such madness. But I've done that in 100 videos and we're not going to regurgitate, but we will go in here. Transgender charity Mermaids today lost its case to have gay rights organisation LGB Alliance stripped of its charitable status in what is believed to have been the first case of its kind in the UK. The attempt by the trans group was branded profoundly homophobic at the tribunal last November, and Mermaid's case was thrown out today, although they are considering an appeal, which we thought they would. Mermaids launched the legal action arguing that LGB Alliance should be stripped of its charitable status, alleging the organisation is merely a front for transphobia and political campaigning to prevent changes on gender self-identification in the law. But, you know, just because you like apples doesn't mean you don't like oranges. Just because you like bananas doesn't mean you hate pears. You know, having a support for one thing doesn't mean you necessarily are against the other thing. And that's why they would have lost, because they were arguing, oh, this is a group that is only LGB, there's no T in there, therefore they hate Ts. No, LG and B are attractions, yes? Man who attracted to a man, a woman to a woman, or anybody to anybody else. They're attractions. Trans is a mental illness. The first three letters of the LGBT, add all your letters, the first three letters are attractions. Everything after that point, mental illness. Anyway, the two charities fundamentally disagree on the issue of trans rights, with the LGB Alliance taking the view that people cannot change their biological sex, while mermaids argue they can, and therefore showing that mermaids are morons. Because no, you cannot change your biological sex. You can put bits in your body, you can take bits off your body, you can put a bit of lippy on, you can wear a dress. It doesn't matter. You are not changing your sex, you're merely changing your appearance. Your sex remains set as it does from the moment of conception. After today's ruling, a Charity Commission spokesman said, "We welcome this judgment, as the judges confirm it is not the Charity Commission's role to regulate public debate on sensitive issues on which there are deeply held sincere beliefs on all sides." Yeah, but there's the right side and there's the wrong side, and mermaids are definitely on the wrong side. Science. Our role is to apply the law, and we consider that we did so in registering the LGB Alliance as a charity, which you're entitled to do. All charities ultimately must deliver on their purposes for the public benefit. We understand both charities hold opposing views, but when engaging in public debate and campaigning, they should do so with respect and tolerance. Demonising and undermining those who think differently is not acceptable behaviour from any charity on our register. Yeah, you are allowed to think differently. You know, you don't demonise them, but you can point out that they are morons. You can point out that they're illiterate, scientifically illiterate, and that they are factually wrong. Pointing out facts is not hate speech. Pointing out facts is true speech. Mermaid said it was disappointed by the tribunal decision, but added it is taking legal advice on a possible appeal because it needs to push the agenda. It needs to make sure that more children get pushed down a line of mass sterilisation. We did a thing the other day about the Tavistock, and of course mermaids are one of these that's worked with the Tavistock and is pushing children towards the Tavistock, and it turns out, after the investigation, that 97.5% of all children who undergo gender reassignment through the Tavistock are not trans. They're not gender dysphoric. They shouldn't be there. They are autistic. They are depressed. They are grieving. They are insert any other mental condition. They're not gender dysphoric, and they should not have gone through this process. But of course, they don't want psychiatrists and psychoanalysts getting hold of these kids, because that would completely destroy the very existence of the Tavistock Clinic, or in this case, the very existence of mermaids. Anyway, in the statement, the charity said, "While we are disappointed by the finding that we do not have the understanding to bring the appeal, Mermaids is proud to have been able to speak up authentically for the trans community in court, and to have demonstrated that the LGBT sector is united in its trans-inclusive approach." Well, it's obviously not united. The LGB Alliance are not united. So again, lies and untruths from mermaids. It is believed to be the first time a charity has ever challenged the registration of another charity. Representing the LGB Alliance, Karen Monaghan KC claimed that Mermaids' action was profoundly homophobic and deeply offensive, adding, "It is again the love that cannot speak its name." Today, a two-judge panel at the General Regulatory Chamber in London ruled in a brief online hearing on Thursday that the appeal was dismissed. In other words, on your bike, mermaids, you've lost. Judge Lynn Griffin said, "The appeal in this case is dismissed. We have dismissed this appeal because we have decided that the law does not permit mermaids to challenge the decision made by the Charity Commission to register LGB Alliance as a charity. LGB Alliance described itself as a charity which promotes the rights of lesbian, gay and bisexual people on the basis of sex rather than gender, and believes that gender transition is largely driven by homophobia," which of course it is. It's the trans housing especially is homophobia. During the hearings last year, LGB Alliance co-founder Bev Jackson said the organisation shared the view of Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling that without sex there is no same-sex attraction. Oh, what an excellent line of logic. Well done. And yeah, I think completely correct. Everything that's there. It's good to see it's right, and that the Mermaids have lost. They're a terrible organisation. When you look at the things they've done, and I've done loads of videos on them. Some of the things they've said, they've done. It's absolutely appalling. So it's good to see another loss. It's actually Mermaids that needs to be closed down and lose its status. The damage it's doing to children who aren't trans at all, and force them into sterility. Little better than what was going on in the camps in the Second World War. Anyway, I shall round off there and come up. Now, it is my philosophical belief, and I'm going to put that in so that I'm protected by the 2010 Equality Act, that there are only two sexes, male and female, and there are only two genders, male and female, and that one goes with the other. And it doesn't matter what you do to your body. You're not changing your sex. You're just changing your appearance. If other people want to go along with your fantasy, that's up to them. But I've got no obligation to join you in your mental illness, for example, unless you're a predator, because a lot of that happens, or unless you are just seeking justification, or maybe it's just a fetish. Because so very, very few people are actually gender dysphoric. It is a very rare thing. And so virtually everyone you meet who is presenting as the other gender is, mentally ill. They need physical, mental help. Because changing yourself, change your body. We see it time and time again. And this, of course, is why the Tavistock is getting sued to smithereens. They whip these kids in, they change all this, whip them off, cut them out, put them in, give them boobs, send them on their way, whatever they're doing. But these children aren't gender dysphoric. They have many, many other problems. They come out the back end, their lives are ruined, they're sterilised, or whatever. And then they have to transition back. Or you get ones that genuinely think they are, until they change, and then they realise that there are other problems with there. That's not what it is. And they thought that getting the surgery would help, and then they realise the surgery hasn't helped, and the problem is mental, not physical. Because all problems are mental, not physical. Your body, you're never born in the wrong body. It's just that sometimes you have a mental issue. And so to force children down this line, as Mermaids do, I think is massively abusive. And that's why I say Mermaids needs to lose its status and be closed. And sure, set up a charity that will help the mental health of children who are undergoing things like this and get them psychiatric and psychoanalytical help. But don't, start putting chemicals into their bodies and hacking bits off with a scalpel. And I'll finish there. Thank you very much for listening. If you like what you see here on the channel, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and do not force people down a one-way street until you are beyond 100% sure. And goodbye.